On April 21st, Russia declared victory over Mariupol, but it did not have complete control. Ukraine's forces and civilians remained holed up in the sprawling Azovstal steel plant. And 2 weeks on, Russian forces continue to fight to capture the last stronghold of Ukrainian resistance in the city. Russian forces have now encircled the plant. On your screens right now are visuals from the steel plant and the Russian offensive against it. This was released by the Russian state TV. The commander of the Azov regiment said that they were fighting difficult, bloody battles for the second day.
Glory to Ukraine. For the 70th day, the Mariupol garrison has been resisting the superior forces of the enemy. Since April 25, we have been holding all-round defense at the Azovstal plant. It's already the second day since the enemy broke into the territory of the plant. There are heavy, bloody battles.
Mariupol's mayor on Wednesday said that they had lost contact with Ukrainian forces due to the heavy fighting with Russian troops. At least 200 civilians and Ukrainian fighters remain in the vast network of underground bunkers in the plant. And now for the latest on this ongoing war, joining us live from Riga in Latvia is our correspondent William Denslow. William, thanks for joining us. Let's talk about Mariupol, specifically the steel plant, which is now at the center of this conflict. It seems to be the last stronghold of Ukrainian resistance. We just heard President Zelensky recently say that we need to continue the silence. He's called for a truce to save those people who are trapped at this steel plant as Russia agrees to a 3-day ceasefire. What more can you tell us?
That's absolutely right. The message from Volodymyr Zelensky this week is that the more Russia continues to bombard that plant, the further they go away from civilization, as he says. He is now calling, Volodymyr Zelensky that is calling for the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres to keep continuing help to get people out of the Mariupol area. It's believed that, according to Volodymyr Zelensky, a further 344 people have been able to flee the Mariupol region. He is calling on the UN to do more to help facilitate humanitarian corridors. Of course, plenty of focus, as you rightly mentioned, is on the Azovstal plant. Earlier this week, we saw 101 civilians evacuated from that plant. That was a concerted effort between Russia, Ukraine, the Red Cross, as well as the United Nations. Russia now saying that they'll agree to a 3-day cessation of their hostilities between Russian forces and the Donetsk People's Republic to open up humanitarian corridors to let civilians leave. That corridor will be open from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Moscow time for the next 3 days.
Right. William, I want to talk about another alarming statement coming from Russia. Russia is claiming that its forces have practiced simulated nuclear-capable missile strikes in the western enclave of Kaliningrad. And all this amid what's going on in Ukraine. Should we be worried?
Well, we've had comments in recent weeks from Sergei Lavrov, Russia's foreign minister, where he said that the prospect of World War III and the prospect of nuclear weapons being used was certainly high and could not be ruled out. So as far as the rhetoric is concerned, yes, it is a worry. Of course, this is a huge... The concern and fear of escalation is something that is being very much seen as a distinct possibility. That is why, of course, we've seen NATO forces reluctant to implement a no-fly zone, despite the consistent request from Kiev to have one implemented. The reason for that, as far as NATO is concerned, is that they don't want to get into any direct confrontation with Russia themselves, and that to spark any further conflict, bringing NATO forces directly into the fight with Russia. So yes, these are certainly concerns, and these drills, as far as Russia, will certainly amplify those fears.
Right, William, thanks so much for joining us on WION in this hour, and thanks for all those inputs. WION World is One is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.